What's going on, everybody? Crypto Headquarters here, and in today's video we're going to be discussing the possibility and the potential for the next cryptocurrency slash altcoin slash Bitcoin bull run in the future. So we're going to be discussing when that could potentially happen, how the market is looking right now, and what to expect moving into the future. So all of that and more will be talked about and covered in today's video, but at this point I want to jump into the disclaimer, which states none of the information in today's video is investment or financial advice. This is just simply my personal opinion. Please do your own research before investing. Invest at your own risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and consult a financial advisor if necessary. As for transparency purposes, I'm going to be talking about a lot of different cryptocurrencies throughout the video, or at least I anticipate to. So with that, I'll be doing my best to let you guys know if I am or am not invested into it, and at the end of the video I'll be doing a final recap about everything I've talked about. So with that said, let's jump into it. The past few weeks have been very kind for the cryptocurrency market, and it's been very kind for investors within the space, especially those who may have invested in all-time highs, as many people begin to recoup some of the money that they lost, or even potentially gain more than their original investment, which is always the hope here. But in today's video there has been a lot of talks about another potential bull run, whether it be for Bitcoin specifically or altcoins in and of themselves, and today's video is basically going to cover all that. I'm going to be outlining my thoughts and opinions on it, as well as when we could potentially expect a bull run going into the future. So first and foremost, let's talk about what's been happening. So if you guys have been living under a rock, or for some reason you aren't following cryptocurrency, basically in January we saw a huge bull run with altcoins and Bitcoin into late December. We saw Bitcoin cross $20,000. We saw altcoins hit huge all-time highs, many of which are down to a third or less at this point in time. Obviously we've recovered as of recently, so it might be less than that, and it varies between altcoin. But what I'm trying to say is that cryptocurrencies had definitely taken a fall across the board. In these past few months we have been in a bear market, and with that there's been a lot of people shorting Bitcoin, there's been a lot of people shorting various positions, betting against cryptocurrency as a whole. And recently we've seen a lot more money flow into the space, and we've seen the liquidation of those short positions. So if we go across the board, we're going to see that the change in 24 hours for these cryptocurrencies is actually in the double-digit green percentages. Now this is something that we would not have seen in the month of February, and especially we would have not seen in January and moving into March. So while across this timeline there have been some points in time where we get some spike in volume, a spike in the overall market cap of cryptocurrencies, we really haven't seen anything like this where we've seen green across the board. Obviously there are cryptocurrencies that are still in the red, but for the most part they're pretty minimal in terms of the price or the market cap that they've lost in the 24 hours. So with the overall market cap spiking so much, it has led to people and the discussion of another potential bull run. So at this point in time, there is no definite answer. Nobody can predict the market. Obviously, you can make educated guesses based on potential indicators or what you think, technical analysis, fundamental analysis. But at this point in time, it is looking good for cryptocurrency. So if we check it out, moving into April, we were sitting at a market cap for all of cryptocurrency at about $250 billion. I had heard talks around the space from the various technical analysts that I follow on YouTube and other platforms, and just other YouTubers as a whole, that we could potentially fall below $200 billion, something that I don't know if I necessarily agreed with at the time. And obviously we didn't fall below that, but there were definitely talks of that. There were talks of Bitcoin hitting $4,000, and at this time I believe that a lot of people were very concerned about the future for cryptocurrency. But the good thing for everybody is that moving into April, we saw a huge uptick in the overall market cap of cryptocurrency. We saw an uptick from $250 billion to basically over a course of 20 days all the way up to $432 billion, which we saw today. Obviously it's a little bit lower right now as this fluctuates from time to time, but you guys get the idea. So with institutional money flowing into this space, with people and these short positions becoming liquidated, and people betting against Bitcoin now losing out on their positions, we are looking towards a future where we could potentially go on another bull run. Now something else I do want to point out is the Bitcoin dominance. Now I want to talk about the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins. So there has been a lot of news lately talking about why people have become bullish on Bitcoin, why people have become bullish on altcoins, where in the past they previously haven't been, and we're going to cover that later in the video. However, right now I want to talk about what the relationship is between Bitcoins and altcoins. So basically, throughout Bitcoin's timeline, this only goes back to 2013, Bitcoin had most of the market dominance. It had the first early mover advantage. It was the cryptocurrency that had the most coverage, and the only one that even came close to getting any sizable amount of market share was Ethereum. That was until March of 2017, when we saw Bitcoin take a plummet, a dive, moving into the month of June, where it was at 40%, similar to a number that we're seeing today. Now, altcoins, Ethereum namely, among others such as Ripple, have really seen an uptick in the overall market cap. However, when Bitcoin decides to go on a bull run, Bitcoin is going on a bull run and nobody is stopping it. So when we look at Bitcoin, what happens is its relationship with altcoins are as follows. When Bitcoin goes up, when we saw Bitcoin go up on that bull run, when we saw Bitcoin reach that $20,000 mark in late December, we saw altcoins struggle. We saw a lot of money flow out of altcoins and into Bitcoins as people wanted to cash out at highs, or they just FOMO'd into Bitcoin as a whole as they saw their altcoin investment wasn't going up. So as Bitcoin goes up, altcoins basically consolidate, or they lose a little bit of a valuation because Bitcoin is doing so well. On the flip side, if Bitcoin is doing awful, if Bitcoin's not doing well, you might think, well, then altcoins are. That's not necessarily true. Bitcoin, if it's not doing well, sometimes and most of the time takes the market down with it. Now, these aren't concrete rules. These aren't permanent, 100% always true. However, in a lot of cases, this stands, and this is just due to historical data over time, where if Bitcoin's not doing well, altcoins generally aren't doing well either. It drags the market down, and if Bitcoin's going up, altcoins usually aren't doing well either. So where do altcoins do well? Well, when Bitcoin's consolidating, when Bitcoin's trading sideways, that is when we generally see altcoins begin to flourish. And we saw that in the month of January, where we saw at the beginning of January, moving into that first week around January 9th, 10th, and 11th, where many altcoins hit their all-time high, Bitcoin had basically leveled off at this point in time. And after that altcoin bull run, we saw the subsequent crash. We saw Bitcoin continue to lose market valuation, and altcoins followed. So what we're looking for in the future here is we're looking to see how well Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is the North Star for cryptocurrency. You can follow Bitcoin to see kind of where the market is heading. It is still the leader in the space, and I don't see it becoming dethroned by Ethereum. I don't see the flippening happening anytime soon, if it were to happen at all. But what is interesting to note is that I don't believe Bitcoin will ever have the same market dominance that it had basically from 2013 into February and then eventually March of 2017. And that's just because altcoins are emerging. People are coming to invest into those altcoins. It's becoming easier to use exchanges. Bitcoin is not the only altcoin, or excuse me, the only cryptocurrency that people know. Ethereum is becoming to make a name for itself among all other cryptocurrencies and altcoins within the space. So while Bitcoin will have a decent amount of market share, amount of dominance in terms of total market capitalization, I don't believe it will ever get back up to that 80 to 90% range that it was seeing in the years coming up to today. So that's just kind of my thoughts and opinions right now on Bitcoin. I do believe that Bitcoin will generally point the market in the right direction. However, don't sleep on altcoins. As we can see, altcoins are doing very, very well. And even if we take a look back at Bitcoin, we see Bitcoin right now trending just about at $9,300. Okay, $9,300. Let's slow down there. But this is coming after on April 5th of 2018, we were sitting just at about $6,800 before moving to the price that we're seeing today, which is about $3,000 more in just about 20 days. So while altcoins are doing well, so is Bitcoin. Now, with this, where we're going to move forward in the future here, I am not 100% certain. However, I do want to bring some other news articles to your attention that are also going to outline some of the reasons that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency have turned bullish over these past few months. This past past few weeks, the talk has been around how volatile Bitcoin has been. Now, the reason this has been happening is due to the fact that many people are pointing fingers at a Mt. Gox trustee moving more than 17,000 Bitcoins to another wallet and to another address or an exchange, causing a domino effect across all major cryptocurrency exchanges, leading to a Bitcoin price fall of about 10%. So for those of you guys not familiar with Mt. Gox and what a trustee is, basically a trustee is the people or the person or individual who is accountable for the leftover Bitcoins that were a result of the Mt. Gox hack a few years back. Now with that, there's a lot of Bitcoins that were left over, and one of these trustees has reportedly moved over 17,000 of these from one of the wallets on Mt. Gox to another address or an exchange, and we know this because this is a public address and we can see where these 17,000 Bitcoins are going. Now we know cryptocurrency and the market as a whole is extremely volatile. It's the wild west out here. However, Bitcoin has been uncharacteristically volatile this past week, and we can see that as it's reflected in the charts. As on April 24th, just a few days ago, we saw Bitcoin at about $9,700 before subsequently dropping down to about $8,700, $8,800, seeing another price rise, going all the way down, and then rising up to the price that we're seeing today. So many people have pointed fingers to this domino effect. Obviously, 17,000 Bitcoins is a lot of Bitcoins. When there's more supply than you have demand, there's a liquidity issue. Obviously, it's going to have a huge impact on the price of Bitcoin, especially at this point in time when cryptocurrency is very much in its infancy and there isn't a lot of adoption from people. There isn't a lot of liquidity in the space. So this is going to have an adverse impact on the price of Bitcoin. And many people have pointed to this specifically as the reason that Bitcoin has seen such volatility. But it's also important to note that Bitcoin was able to recover from this. It was able to stay above $9,000, which is a huge indicator and is actually one of the reasons that I'm fairly optimistic and actually very optimistic, I'll go out and say, about Bitcoin moving into the future here and specifically in the short term. Now, moving on with this article, they talk about the daily trading volume of Bitcoin and how it remains relatively low at about $7.6 billion. So this was written on April 28th, so keep that in mind, and we're going to get into that in a second. But they also mentioned that in March, when Bitcoin was at $10,000 and even $11,500, the daily trading volume of Bitcoin was above $10 billion. In December 2017, its volume crossed $20 billion, and that's at its all-time high. Now, if we look at when this article was written, we're going to see that yesterday they're referencing the fact that when Bitcoin was about the same price it is today, just about, it was at $7.8 billion in terms of 24-hour volume. Now, if we look at the same price it is today, we're seeing Bitcoin at about $8.8 billion. So we've just about raised, in the last day, $1 billion in volume. So this article is slightly dated in that regard, and hopefully we're going to continue to see this uptick in volume. However, it is important to note that if we were to see Bitcoin see a massive increase in price, say we went up $3,000 or even $1,000 very quickly in the price of Bitcoin, if there isn't volume to back that up, I would keep in mind that that could potentially be a red flag. The volume should coincide with a price increase of Bitcoin. There needs to be volume backing and supporting the price of Bitcoin and the increase in price as well into the future here. So volume is something that's often not looked at when you look at cryptocurrency, or at least when basically traditional or retail investors look at it. Volume is something that a lot of time gets swept under the rug, but keep in mind that volume is extremely important because it signals how much is actually being traded, how much is being bought, sold on a particular day. And if there's a lot of volume and a lot of interest to support the price, that's only going to mean good things moving into the future. So moving onwards, I want to talk about the idea of investors, retail traders, and hedge funds becoming more optimistic in regards to the short and long-term trend of the cryptocurrency market. So recently, and over the past year really, there has been a lot of people coming out and saying that cryptocurrency is legitimate and here to stay, which is in huge contrast to the perception and opinions before in years past. So we saw many people skeptical about Bitcoin, and while there certainly are people out there today in a large community that don't think cryptocurrency is here to last, though I am not one of those people and they still exist, there has been on the flip side a lot of people who have even been traditionally against Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole coming out and saying, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to get in on this, and I think blockchain is the future. So this week, cryptocurrency-focused hedge fund Pantera Capital said that it sees the market growing to a $40 trillion market in the long run, competing against traditional markets. In addition to this, I've used this article in the past in other videos, but we've seen Tom Lee's reason for the rise have to do with Santander's news. They would launch a blockchain-based international payment service with Ripple, among other things. And you also look at the liquidation of short positions I've talked about earlier, both also contributing to the price of Bitcoin moving up. So people betting against Bitcoin, they're not doing that anymore. They think that there's no reason to short Bitcoin if they believe that Bitcoin's going to keep going up in value, as that wouldn't make any sense. They would lose money shorting it. So people have been going long on that. In addition to that, as we were talking about earlier, we've seen, as this article on Cointelegraph points out, that a plethora of Wall Street money and talent moving into the crypto sphere, possibly influencing the crypto markets. And we've seen that again with the overall, just the massive amount of money coming into the space, moving from $256 billion to $432 billion in not even a month, is absolutely huge. And this is potentially due to the fact that we've seen billionaire investor George Soros, he would begin to have his family office trading cryptocurrencies. The Rockefeller's venture capital arm partnered with CoinFund to support crypto and blockchain development. And then finally, a Goldman Sachs executive reportedly left to join Mike Novogratz future crypto merchant bank. And these are only a few announcements. And this article even is dated back to April 13th. So basically what I'm trying to say is that not only are there a ton of retail investors getting back into cryptocurrency and getting excited about it moving into the future, but in addition to that, what we possibly needed to jumpstart this next bull run was institutional money, Wall Street money flowing into the space, and we have exactly that. To conclude the video, I'm going to give my final thoughts and opinions on whether or not we could see a bull run, whether for Bitcoin or altcoins, moving into the next few months. Now, I am going to say that this is not investment or financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. Nobody can predict the market perfectly and exactly. Obviously, you can make educated guesses based on trends, based on historical data, based on technical analysis, etc. But at the same time, nobody knows for certain. Now, my opinion is actually that I want to be cautiously optimistic, and this is a sentiment that I've echoed across almost all of my videos, and it's something that I hold pretty much for my investment strategy. Now, I don't want to get super optimistic that tomorrow we're going to see a bull run or the day after that, because as we know, we don't know if there's another huge amount of FUD coming into the marketplace that could completely tank Bitcoin and other altcoins back for a few more weeks, even another month. Obviously, a bull run is imminent. It is coming at some point in time. This past month has boded well for cryptocurrency as a whole, but it's not for certain that we're going to see any type of huge exponential price increase within the next week, within the next month, or even the next 2 months. However, what I will say is that I am gearing up for cryptocurrency and altcoins to potentially keep increasing in value and eventually blast off to the moon so everybody can buy their Lambos. Whether or not this happens soon, I don't know. However, as somebody who takes positions in cryptocurrency in the long run, I'm not exactly waiting for that to happen. I am just looking forward to the future of cryptocurrency and blockchain. Obviously, it's nice to see my portfolio doing well, but as somebody who's just taken out long positions, years to develop my portfolio, I'm not too concerned about the bull run. However, it's coming at some point in time, and for those of you guys who are maybe looking to take advantage of these opportunities that are coming up to sell at the top, to make some profit, I will say that right now the indicators are looking very, very good across the board. Institutional money, the liquidation of short positions, the fact that there is a decent amount of volume to support Bitcoin's rise in price, the fact that we've sustained above $9,000, among other things. I've said it a few times. I feel like I'm rambling on way too much here. I think that maybe moving into June, we could see another bull run, and I'm hesitant to even say anything because there is no exact date. There is no exact time. I'm just thinking that within the next few months, hopefully we can see a turn in the tide and go completely bullish on cryptocurrency again. So thank you guys for watching the video. Again, I'm going to echo it. This is not investment or financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Comment down in the comment section what you guys think is the reason that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and altcoins as a whole are doing particularly well. And I'm going to cut to the outro of today's video. that's going to do it for the video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Hopefully you guys learned something from the video. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. It's very hard to pinpoint the exact time, and is near impossible. Basically, it's impossible to predict the next bull run of cryptocurrency. Right now, I am more optimistic than I have been really since January, when we saw cryptocurrencies doing extremely well. And with that, I want to temper any expectations here, as it is better to be cautiously optimistic than overly optimistic and be disappointed in the outcome here. But again, I think these next few months will be good for cryptocurrency as a whole, and we've seen that by everything I've outlined in this video, among other things. So again, thank you guys for watching the video. I'm going to jump into the disclaimer, which states none of the information in today's video is investment or financial advice. This is just simply my personal opinion. Please do your own research before investing. Invest at your own risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Consult a financial advisor if necessary. As for transparency purposes, I believe I talked about the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, which I am not invested into at this point in time. I don't hold any Bitcoin, and I believe I mentioned EOS, and I don't hold EOS in my portfolio at the time making this video, and I'm not invested into that either. But for the most part, I think those are the only two cryptocurrencies I've mentioned in today's video. If there's anything else I mentioned, feel free to drop it in the comment section to ask if I am or am not invested into it. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Thank you. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Have a great rest of your guys' day.